it. Okay, cool. All right. We're looking good.
Right,
And
we're
then,
live.
yeah, well, yeah, we're streaming, and I am going to.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, and emitting, and if everybody can just hold on just 1 minute. We still have another 2 minutes until the hour, so we'll give a couple minutes for everybody. Good day, everyone.
For everybody on all the platforms that aren't connected to Zoom, but you can see this video, I'll check comments and all that stuff after. Oh, thank you. This cog, I've been seeing you on, I saw you on the thing that we did for Jillian, the fundraiser for her health. And I appreciated having you there. Oh, there you are. Awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
We've got 1 minute and then we're gonna, well, I'm gonna announce some really exciting things. Greg will mention any housekeeping stuff, and then we're gonna get right into it. I plan on going really deep myself. Well, I'm not planning anything, but my intention is to go really, really deep, and I just have to take my hands off the steering wheel and trust that the autopilot is on, which I do. That's faith. All right, we are 6 p.m. here, Eastern time.
If you could hold off just 1 more minute, I want to verify something. I mean, we're still trying to get some of the restream stuff kind of worked out.
Yeah.
We are actually live on the other platforms. Awesome. So restream is working properly. So, okay, guys. Well, thank you everybody for attending. Today is May 2nd, 2023, and welcome to our weekly Coherence Meditation with Seth and all of you lovely people. So welcome.
Thank you for that, Greg. Yeah, Greg is amazing. He's been helping me with all the tech and just to really streamline this process, because we want to reach as many that want to be reached, because I've been fortunate enough to experience what happens when you're with a whole bunch of people who are intentionally choosing to have their attention and their being, their body, all the different frequencies and energies that we emit all throughout the fields and different areas of our body. And when you get a bunch of people together and you do that, and we're leading with the heart, with gratitude for life, intentionally reminding ourselves that we are so grateful to be here despite all the difficulties, despite all the surrounding chaos. There's a part of us that knows so clearly that this is an absolute miracle. And when we begin to consciously acknowledge that, and through these meditations and through the way we live our lives, really, we begin to bridge the unconscious and the conscious aspects of our personal human experience. And when that happens, all our memories, well, it triggers the remembrance of why we incarnated and why we're here. And it leads us in a way where our instincts, our intuition, and our ability to think logically and objectively, they all get harmonized together, and it just improves our personal lives. And together, sky's the limit. So before we start, I want to tell everybody too, we decided that we're gonna we'll do these weekly guided coherence meditations. And once a month, we're going to bring on a special guest. And maybe not to do a meditation. Like next week, next Tuesday, my friend Veda Austin already scheduled this and said she's going to come on. And for those who don't know who she is, you got to go to this and bring everybody who you feel might be interested, because what she's doing needs to be seen by the world, and she's getting there now. Now people are finally catching on. She's got Gerald Pollack, who's a world-renowned water scientist, who's in her corner. She's got Rupert Sheldrake as a friend, who is the person that basically proved that morphogenic fields where we influence the collective just by enough of us having an individual uplifting experience together as a group, 100th monkey effect. So she's got all these people in her corner, and she is like a motto. People remember, what was that movie? Oh, What the Bleep Do We Know? For those who've seen that, they showed Masaru Emoto, a Japanese water scientist, who showed that water crystals under a microscope could be influenced by thoughts and feelings and all of that. And everybody loved it. People who saw it and had an open heart and an open mind were like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. But the quote unquote traditional scientists, they're like, well, that's not real science, because it's a different effect every time. And, you know, everyone had a whatever. People can be really closed. But with her, she is everything Emoto was doing is under a microscope. She's photographing water crystallography without a microscope. You can see it with your eyes. And she's not just taking pictures of water that's been exposed to love or anger or any emotions. She is taking it to levels that are so mind-boggling that it can be hard to actually accept what's happening, because it fundamentally erases so much of the limitation that many of us have we've unknowingly have been birthed into this life with blinders on in a lot of ways. And when we see that water is a living being, it's communicating to us, through us. We are all water. And a lot of the meditations we do focus on how to get the water of the body structured in a way that's very synonymous to beautiful, perfect crystals forming in the earth. The geometries and the shapes and the clarity emit frequencies that are quite undetectable by human senses. So anyway, she's going to come on next week, and she's going to put slides. She's going to show her work. And I was talking with her the other night, and I hadn't seen stuff that she'd been doing in the past 6 months. And I was literally speechless. And then I couldn't help but cry. So I really mean it. Come to this, check it out, and you'll be so glad you did. So I'll say that now. And then
what's her name?
Veda Austin. I'll put it in so VEDA AUSTIN. And she's got a great website. She's on all the big tech social media channels. And yeah, go to her website. I think it's VedaAustin.com. It's just, I'm going to start crying before we even start here, but
I remember this actually. Yeah, I'm on her website right now, VedaAustin.com. And there have been a couple other channels that I recall in the past couple of years that have had her on. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I think there might be a PDF ebook on the site or something.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see next week. And
oh yeah. Oh, she teaches this. She shows people how to do it. And she had 700 people in her last class. So not only because she did this all on her own for a long time, But now that she's taught other people how to do the technique, it's happening to other people. They're getting similar or greater or just phenomenal phenomena as a result of doing this. And it's one of the best ways, I think, that we can learn to shift human consciousness so that we recognize how powerful we all are and life is, and that there's way more order and coherence in the living universe than there is chaos. Chaos just exists in little pockets where it needs to, so that it can actually bring growth and change, which isn't the most popular idea to people who are suffering, but it's all part of the process. So, all right, with that said, I want everybody to just get as comfortable as they can. Whether you're sitting down or laying down, just get in a place where you can just really take the pressure off your body. If you have pain or discomfort or anything like that, don't worry. Just let it be there. And then start breathing. Deep, gentle, rhythmic breath. I do 4 seconds on the inhale and 4 seconds on the exhale. Put a little smile on your face just to acknowledge, just to feel what that little tiny smile can do when you start to breathe rhythmically. It reminds you of joy, of goodness, of happiness, of what it's like to be so in tune with wonder and exploration and innocence. And without thinking about it, just try to smile everywhere in your body at once. You don't even have to stretch a muscle. Just let yourself intentionally feel like your whole being is smiling. And as you're breathing, just relax all the muscles of your face. Relax your hands. Relax your feet. These 5 different parts of our body all have points and patches and areas inside of them that correspond to all the organs, glands, muscles, fluids, bone marrow, bones. Every single part of our body can be accessed in any and all of those 5 different parts of our body. Put a big smile on your face as you're relaxing more and more. And as you smile, really let yourself feel gratitude for the fact that you're here, that you're alive, that we're all together, intentionally taking action steps to improve our health, wellness, our ability to be abundant, to function in this world with the potential that we all know is possible. Really feel that. It's like you can feel it in your whole body. Deep, deep gratitude. So grateful to be here, to be alive, to have the opportunity to be in these bodies that are so profound. The heart beats roughly 100,000 times a day, roughly 35 million times a year. These bodies are the place, the temple, somewhere we can go to truly connect with whatever this mind-blowing, incredibly awe-inspiring energy, this bioelectromagnetic pulse of life that has origins from something that is so well organized. It is so conscious of its own consciousness that it is able to circulate all of this creative energy throughout all of eternity and all of its existence. And we are the recipients of that. We are absolutely a total intrinsic part of a greater circulatory system, of a level of consciousness that is so powerful. It is so far beyond comprehension with the normal human self that most of us perceive the world with. But just because it's beyond normal comprehension, it means that we can literally begin to start turning on what I call self-induced sensitivity points, meaning all these little areas of the body that when we focus on them, we feel the pulse of our heart there. And our own human awareness is also focused on them. I then call it selflessly endorsed growth points, meaning there is a greater living consciousness that recognizes we are taking steps to activate that which we have been born into this world with. And when we take steps to turn on these sensitive points that are everywhere throughout our body, they're even in our energy field all around our body. And the more we turn them on inside of our body, the more this great consciousness endorses our efforts by allowing those points to grow. And when they do, we become led. It guides us in a way so that we can continue to further activate all of these different points in our field. And the feeling of it is better than anything I've ever felt times infinity. Really no way to explain it. But there is a way to experience it, and that's what we're doing. So really focus on your breathing. You can keep your eyes open or closed, whatever's most comfortable. Most people keep their eyes closed, which is totally perfect because it gives you the ability to really focus inwardly on the world within. And as we're relaxing, we're going to take our attention, focus it right in the middle of our head. And you don't need to have any precision point. It's just your intention, your instinct, and your focus, focusing in whatever the middle of the head means for you. There's no way to mess this up. And whatever you do to become aware of that is perfect as it is. We usually always start in the middle of the head because living in our bodies in this life, a lot of energy is focused right in mostly our prefrontal cortex, the front of our head. It's all through our body, it's all around, but we have a tendency to get stuck in who we think we are and what our beliefs and perceptions are. We tend to create stories, and we listen to other stories around, and we begin to incorporate them into our sense of self. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, a new story is coming through. And the more we focus on the potential of what that new story could be telling us or communicating to us, through us, the better we get at becoming the character in our own lives that we know we have the potential to be. Living with courage, with trust, with faith, with a whole being knowing that everything in our lives is perfectly placed exactly where it needs to be to offer us the opportunity to really become conscious. To become conscious at a level that is unity consciousness manifested as our own unique personal human being expression, whatever that means for you. Really relax deeper. Gently scan your body from head to toe. Forget about everything in the world around you for now. There is only your awareness becoming aware of itself. And with that focus in the middle of your head, if you can feel your pulse, you can feel your heartbeat gently pulsing in your head, allow yourself to do that. If you can't, it's totally okay. Just keep your attention there. Now allow yourself to take your pulse that's in the middle of your head or your attention and allow it to gently start to go down, like drop straight down, gently and slowly. through your throat, through your neck, into the aortic valves of your physical heart. And do your best to be calm enough so that you can feel your heart actually beating. And then sense what it would be like if your heart and your brain were communicating together. What would they be saying? What would they tell each other? There's so much research now, double-blind, non-placebo, nocebo studies that show the heart and the brain, when in coherence with somebody who is conscious of that, is literally a super organ. Just getting into a state of simple heart-brain coherence for 5 minutes a day is so powerful. It's so healing. Imagine if we were working towards getting to a point where this state of coherence becomes such a primary focus that we eventually get so good at it that it automatically stays on. It's so possible. It's actually way more normal than being out of coherence and in a state of chaos, generating hormones and chemicals of stress because of real or imagined stressors or threats in the world around us. So many people are stuck in that. And our efforts at getting into and sustaining these states of coherence will create harmony in the world around you. It's like sympathetic resonance of an instrument. You hit one string on a guitar and all the other ones start to vibrate. Just as when you get into a state of coherence between the heart and brain, and then eventually all the other organs and systems and fluids of the body. When you are in that state, you are in harmony with the building blocks of eternity. There is no dark agenda. There is no manipulation or fear or anything that can touch you when you are in that state, because you are intentionally choosing to become harmonized with the greater expression of all reality. And it bestows you with a sense of humble confidence, a way to know that you are balanced, you're grounded, your senses are beginning to open in ways that lead you to the remembrance of other senses that you can turn on. So as the heart is pumping, it's also spiraling oxygenated and non-oxygenated blood through our body in a way that structures it. And just like the Milky Way galaxy in its spiral form, so too do the rhythms of our body and organs as they function in harmony with each other. And as all of this circulated blood and structured fluids that are being spread out through every organ, every gland, our arms, our legs, it distributes all of this highly structured, infinitely intelligent information in the form of non-physical frequency and physical matter of the body, cellular, subatomic particles, atoms that create frequencies that match and align with the greater frequencies and building blocks of our living galaxy and universe, and way beyond, stemming to the source of all consciousness that's interconnected through the living organic web of life. Sometimes we get stuck in our perception of time. But as many know, there are quite a few different calendars, and most of them don't line up together. To me, that suggests that the whole notion of time itself has been so socially indoctrinated into human consciousness for who knows how long, to the degree that everybody is living with limits that they both stress out about and even have fear towards. But what if, in the scope of all things, there is no time? There's only, as they say, the eternal now. What would we be like if we didn't focus on birthdays and the belief that as we age, we get older and our body breaks down? What would it be like if we weren't rushing to meet deadlines or jobs or tasks or anything in the daily world? If we can live in a timeless way, just that alone brings so much relaxation to the body, and it increases circulation. The spiraling structure of all the fluids that the heart is beating into and around every single part of our body becomes enhanced. Just by us focusing on the energy field of our entire body with the intention of amplifying the circulation of all of this incredibly powerful, beautiful, life-nourishing blood, water, fluids. It allows them to become more evenly distributed to where it's going to help you most. From a greater perspective, and you really begin to have harmonized circulation with your heart and your entire body and all the systems of it in alignment with all the living frequencies of the divinity, the divine aspect of human consciousness that is neither tethered to this body, nor is it anything that can deceive us or trick us. We're going through difficulties or challenges. We have the ability to face these types of situations with trust, like a student who's eager to learn from a teacher that they know and trust, and to learn the lesson of whatever the situation at hand may be in a way that deeply trust whatever it is that's happening. The more relaxed we become, and the more conscious of how relaxed we become, sympathetic and parasympathetic and autonomic nervous system begin to do what they were meant to do at a level that is increased because you are calm. You're breathing gently and deeply. You're grateful to be here, to be alive. And you feel that smile rippling all throughout your being. The nervous systems of our body are so profoundly, inherently intelligent to a degree that whether we are conscious or not, it is regulating every single aspect and component and part and system and flow of energy, information, water, and all the corresponding fluids, their different minerals and consistencies. All of it gets in tune with you, the one who is consciously observing your own existence. You either see or sense or feel or hear or have a deep intuitive instinctual perception of this energy that is being circulated all around your body. Allow yourself to be in awe of it. Allow yourself to recognize its beauty. Overall, as a species, we haven't been giving it that much attention. And if we're not giving it attention, then why should it pay attention to us? And when we make a concerted, conscious effort to start becoming aware of it, to start paying attention to attention itself. It pays us back in the form of allowing us to remember why we incarnated, what the purpose of our existence is, how to do things that most only dream about because they just don't remember that they're capable of it. Feel your pulse in the middle of your hands if you can. Now feel it in the middle of your feet, the same time as your hands. And now feel or imagine what it would feel like to have your entire body flowing, pulsating with this miraculous signature, an energetic signature of life that is unified and connected to everybody and everything everywhere, but still is its own unique expression of it. That's what we all are, individually and collectively together. Really allow yourself to feel what it would be like to be in the consciousness of your own energy field, feeling it pulsing through every single part of your body, all at the same time. And you feel this and you're aware of it without any effort. It's just what is. It's the flow of life. And you're just going with it. And when the flow of life knows that you're on board, you're willing to trust it to take you to new experiences and expressions of what is possible for you, then it will bring you deeper into the recognition and remembrance of what you have always known as there. This feeling and this work you did is the circulatory system. It is your willing intention to focus on it. And as a result, the divine aspect of you that you always have been and always will be will amplify and empower this system and every system of your body in a way that allows you to begin to master what it's like to be in a state of harmony with yourself, with the energy field of this world. Even though humans have built grids and cities and streets and all of these things all over this planet, underneath it is a living being with complex ecosystems, with microbiomes and bacteria and systems of nature that expand all through it. So underneath us is a greater expression of life's potential. And all around us is the same. And this work that we're doing will bring you into harmony with all of that, so that all of what men have built, the chaos and dysfunction and all of the things that we perceive as totally disharmonious with a living bioorganism of life in its infinite multitude of expressions. All of those things that humans have created, that we have created, they don't have as much power over us as we give them. And so by making an effort to shift our attention to what is really happening, as opposed to what we think is happening within the realms of humankind, then nobody and nothing can hold us to anything. We are born free, and our ability to stay free is the result of our efforts to become so much more conscious than most have inspired us to be. As you're breathing, as you're relaxing, give yourself a little gentle, energetic pat on the back. It can be difficult sometimes to do this work because it seems like it takes so much focus at first. But I can promise you, if you keep doing it, focus but gently, it's not only going to become easier over time, it's going to become so much more empowered with all of these energies and frequencies we've been referencing throughout this meditation. And smile. Smile as big as you have yet today, right now. Consciously let that feeling of you smiling circulate through every system of your body. Feel it in your head, your neck, throughout your core, your back, your chest, your abdomen. your arms, hands, pelvic floor, your legs, your feet, and then either imagine or feel what your energy field is like now that you have come to this place with all of us. Make a little mental note if you acknowledge that you feel better, that you feel that to some degree you have chosen to empower yourself and connect with the deeper essence that gives you the ability to become empowered. And energetically acknowledge each other so gently now, effortlessly. Know that you are intentionally choosing to come together with a group of people who all want the best outcome for themselves, their loved ones, the whole of our species, and the way in which we coexist with all these other life forms in and around us. If your eyes are closed and you feel like opening them, please go ahead. We're going to come back, but we're also not going to leave. We're going to stay in a state of full body, heart and brain, whole body, whole soul, coherence. And we're going to let that integrate into our own unique human awareness. I don't know about you guys, but I am so grateful to be alive. And the most intense challenges that I've experienced in my life, I was fortunate and lucky enough to have the kind of attitude that didn't resist it. I did it first. But when I felt that my resistance was only making it more difficult for my body and me, that rational thought in harmony with the heart and the gut, the instinct, and the synchronized, harmonious movements of every other organ in our body working together. I always jokingly say that my organs are my best friends, but I'm not joking. They really are. So just allow yourself to be present with all of us here. And if anybody has anything they want to share or ask or anything at all, feel free to do that. And if you don't, totally good, no matter what, unconditionally. How
That
are
was
you, Greg?
amazing.
Ooh, go ahead.
I just
Sorry,
wanted
Emma.
to share
Mhm.
the amazing synchronicity that's been happening these last 2 weeks. Last week I was like, okay, I learned about the meditations a month or so ago, but I finally got it in my calendar. And I said, okay, it's in the calendar. And I saw it early in the morning. And then I got in flow of my day. And I had no little reminder anywhere. This was last week. But I found myself returning to my computer a few minutes before the time of the meditation with the thought, it's time to
Mm.
go to meditate. And the same thing happened today.
Mm.
I got completely in flow, made a big soup and stuff, and then ended up at my computer and then thought, oh no, I missed the meditation. And I turned on the computer and it was 2 minutes before the time. And I that is just so profound. Something much bigger is going on because I don't have that level of synchronicity generally. And 2 weeks in a row.
Mm.
And then I arrived just in time to hear about the water woman. So it's like, so just thank you for creating this amazing field.
Oh yeah, we're doing it together. That's so beautiful. Thank you. And it's, I mean, I don't, the level of synchronicities that will manifest if we keep doing this. I am beyond humbled. I don't even like, I'm speechless most of the time because every now and then I'll get caught up in something and I'll kind of like forget how much effort I put into doing this every day and being like this. And then something intense happens and then I catch it and I'm like, oh, that's right. That's life. The best teacher ever trying to remind me of what I've already known. And in the acknowledgement of that comes, it's like, okay, the challenge or whatever it is, it opens way, it dissolves. And then a greater level of knowing and synchrony and synchronicity and harmony, it just starts to be there. It's, others feel it and they know it's them. And that's why, like, we each are this. And the more we do it, the more we embody it. And then we exemplify it and we help others. And I don't know whether I'm right or wrong or whatever, but to me, it seems like that kind of internal shift of consciousness from the world around to rising in love with the world within is what will bring change to this world. If enough of us start doing that together, right? We can imagine what the quote unquote apocalypse looks like. And we can get so caught up in, oh, I got to be prepared. I got to do this. I got to do that. Or we can imagine what, to be cliche, heaven on earth is like. We spend our time imagining that. And either way, it's like there's infinite blessings or infinite curses, you could say. And we have the choice to choose what we prefer to focus on. And it's not bypassing, it's not any of that. It's literally a choice of, do we focus on the greater aspect of reality or the little tiny bit of sand that's stuck in our shoe that's irritating us?
I don't know if you know much about human design, but I'm a human design reflector,
I don't.
and right, you know, Miranda.
Yeah.
One thing that's really been helpful for me is being a reflector. I absorb what's going on in the outside if I'm not careful. And one thing that's been really helpful is extracting myself and sort of being like the eagle and observing the apocalypse and finding it all quite hilarious because I'm grateful that I'm now able to like fly like an eagle, observe, have a laugh, and because you have to know I feel you have to know what's going on. But yeah, using your imagination and that love you feel, and you know, whatever I'm feeling now after that meditation, thank you. It's because the focus is on the apocalypse, right? And that's what everybody's like, oh, this, that. Where it's just like, yeah, but over here, look what's going on over here. It's amazing. I find that helpful. Just being the observer, observing as much as possible and not getting sucked into the minutiae of it.
You know, the one thing that like authority or government or whatever forces are threatening, the one thing that they don't know how to deal with is somebody that's just laughing and in a state of smiling, no matter what, because you know that everything that's happening is so much greater than all of that. And they don't know what to do. They just like, I've seen guys, they're like, wow, you're really not afraid. And I'm like, well, no, I'm a little afraid, but I'm way more in love with everything than I am afraid. And you can see it. You can see it in their eyes. It sparks remembrance in all that we interact with. Thank you for saying that. It's, yeah. I'm sure there's people on the other platforms who have things to say, and I guess probably what we should do is get the Zoom link to people so that we can all try to get on this one platform. It'll still stream to all the other ones, but if we get here together as a group, it'll be a little more coherent, maybe a lot more.
Yeah, there actually was one of the Facebook channels that I put the Zoom link out to because Restream wasn't broadcasting there.
Mhm.
So hopefully we can get more over on the Zoom side, as we can. So
So Greg set up, is it Calendly or what's the system you set up for a calendar?
it's a Calendly, very similar to Calendly. Are you talking for the scheduling a phone call?
Well, no, so that people can come on, click on it, and then get reminded that we're going to be doing.
Oh, yeah. So there is a calendar link that everybody can click on, and it will import into their phone or their tablet or their Gmail account. All you have to do is go to freedomsnap.org/Seth or /Seth Leaf. I actually made them.
Oh, you changed it?
So no, I didn't change it. I just put an alias for it. So one or the other, Seth or Seth Leaf. And there's a button on there you can click. It'll add to your calendar. And you can set a notification on that event to automatically remind you every week. I think by default, it's 15 minutes prior to the event that it'll notify you.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
we've all, like everybody, Greg, and there's a bunch of other people who are involved in doing this. We all know that at some point there's going to be a tipping point, because obviously it's not us. There's others around the world who are also doing similar things. So it appears like the world is changing so fast and it looks chaotic. I feel it's because there's enough people within the past, whatever, 50 years or so, that have started to become conscious of consciousness in human form to the degree that they transcend all the things that can limit them. And everything is it any coincidence that everything around is literally breaking down?
I agree. I agree. And actually, Shima, it's interesting you brought that up. Plus, to go along with some of the things that Seth brought up during the meditation, but it reminds me of I think it was back in December, but um, when it comes to myself, I want to learn as much as I can about anything and everything, really. So I've been down this path for a long time too, but just it was really weird because just in December, it's it's almost like things just kind of manifested themselves, and I had a lot of things going on in my head. I'm trying to figure out, like, well, what do I do about this and this and this, and it's like these pieces just manifested and just came and presented themselves, and you learn to cognize or recognize those things out there. I think one of the things that I was talking to a couple of our other friends here about was that we were on the topic of I think it was just like the world system of money and everything, and I happen to bring up the Wizard of Oz, and there's a little a mini documentary a long time ago. I think it was put out by Ben Still, and he goes into a little bit more of the meaning of Wizard of Oz. So anyway, the short of the long is that I recommended those guys to go out and find that video somewhere on YouTube, about the real meaning of Wizard of Oz, with the ruby slippers versus the silver slippers and the gold, road and everything. And lo and behold, the 7K membership that we have, that we're members of, they had a Wizard of Oz. This is a gold note, but anyway, they had a Wizard of Oz gold note. It's not on this, but
Okay.
it
I
was
didn't know they
specifically a
had
Wizard
that.
of Oz gold note
Oh my gosh.
that was just brought out about 2 weeks later, and I'm like, wow, isn't that amazing? Like, I didn't even know about it, but it's just like it's just so very synchronistic on how these things, you just bring it out, and it just kind of manifests itself. But even a lot of people, you mentioned multiple times, well, actually you mentioned the one timeline we're on. Most people think we're on just the Gregorian calendar, that Gregorian timeline, that calendar. But as I've studied and watched other people and all this stuff, but as far as, like, Project Looking Glass and the timelines and everything else, like, all this stuff has already happened for us, so we're trying to remember and cognize, all of the different timelines that we're on here. So it's quite interesting. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's why we do this, because paying attention to those synchronicities like that, you get better and better, because all those little self-induced sensitivity points I was mentioning, they start to turn on and they get stronger. And then you are conscious, you're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm having new signals and frequencies and energies and information being broadcasted right in me. And bit by bit, it like builds a bridge of coherence between the known and the unknown, where you remember. And then it's so fun. I mean, people are like, oh, like, the thought of dying, and some people just want to die because the world is so intense. And it's having a conversation with someone, and we were talking about the potential of physical immortality, and she got like really kind of like upset about it. And then I was like, and I understood why she got upset, but it's like, yeah, we don't want to be living forever if we're not growing and becoming more conscious as a result. And then I just said, think of all the things that are going on in this life that I know, for me personally, I would love to master. I want to play guitar, I want to sing, I want to, like, do so many different things and get as good at it as I can with these coherence meditations and practices that I do. And that's like the cake. Everything else is icing on the cake for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned it just a couple weeks ago. Like, imagine like if I think it was another video I saw. But if we're just like simply a ball of light and we're just like vibrating at such a high intensity, well, we incarnate here to experience all the things that we're experiencing in this life, in this realm. And just to, you're talking about consciousness and everything, but just to bring it out of like your subconscious and raise it to your conscious is really quite amazing. And actually, along the lines kind of all what I mentioned with the multiple timelines and everything, but it's Lori Williams. That's who it was. Lori Williams, remote viewing. Everybody probably knows her, but she explains it pretty well in one of her classes. And she goes into the whole subconscious and then the conscious mind, and then of course it all leads into, the remote viewing procedures with the controlled remote viewing stuff.
Which is like
pretty cool.
observing the observer, observing reality, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
In my experience, and I'm probably many others, like the more we get in coherence, the more things like that just become a natural, I don't want to say byproduct, but they just become a natural extension of our coherent states of being. It activates infinite gifts, really, so.
Yep. Matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up because I was watching this the other night. I'll post this link in the chat in case anybody else would like to watch, but that video alone just the other night really it triggered a lot of things in my mind where it's like the collective consciousness, where as far as a subconscious level, the universal law, like whoever you want to call, need to put out an idea or they need to tell you what's going on before it happens. So like certain events that have happened, in umpteen years, they'll put out little subconscious videos if it's in like Simpsons, if everybody knows what I'm talking about, the magazine and all that stuff, they'll put it out on different entertainment avenues known as a television, and they'll program us to, so that when that event does happen, we're already programmed there, and we're already recognizing that, it is what it is. Anyway, it's a cool link that I send there in the chat.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, there's so much more I could say, and I'm really looking forward to this growing and more people coming together. And Operation Mockingbird, Quantum Mother T. I love your name, your handle. Like I said last time, it's great. But it's the more we come together and create community, the more immunity, the more connection, the more health and wellness and wholeness we feel. And then, kicking ideas around or topics or things like it becomes fun. The process of creatively envisioning what is possible as a group, very exciting. And so we're going to be doing that. And eventually we'll be doing them in person. Take a little time maybe, but maybe not. Maybe it'll just start happening really quick.
I love that. More community, better immunity.
Dr. Northrup actually said that. She said community equals immunity. And it's so true, right? Everybody's like, oh no, don't go near people that are going to make us sick and all that. Like, but when we're truly coherent, when we're in this state of love that is allowing us to feel that, and we get around others who are also making efforts to do the same, the community definitely equals immunity. Everybody's laughing and smiling and having fun and not judging each other, competing with one another, all these things that we think we have to do to survive. So, yes, creativity, super exciting.
All
Well,
right. What do you say?
yeah.
Does anybody else have anything they would like to chime in with? Otherwise, yeah, we're about an hour and 13 minutes. I think
Yeah.
it's a good, great call, guys. And thank you very much, Seth.
Absolutely. Thank you, Greg, for holding this all down, the back end of it here. Front and the back, we're all together. It's one thing. And yeah, so next week, you guys definitely make it to this if you can, because you'll be glad you did. When you hear her talking about how she does it and things that happen live, right? Like when it's happening in the moment, like even me, like I'm not able to make sense of what is happening, but I love that. It's like the mind has no, like, it's almost like the first time I went to the, well, for only time I went to the Grand Canyon. When I first got there, I couldn't even, like, I looked at it and it was so big, I couldn't perceive it. And then it felt like there was a gap in time, and I was like, what am I? Who am I? Why am I here? Why is this here? Like, what? And so we're going to these points where we're being able to perceive much greater and yet deeper levels of information in a way that's open but balanced and grounded at the same time. And Veda, yeah, you guys are in for a real treat. And tell everybody who you think might be interested in it, because like I said, she's on the verge of really getting acknowledgement from around the world, and rightfully so, because her work is, I'm gonna cry water here if I keep talking about it. So let's get everybody, we'll see you guys next Tuesday. And then after the Tuesday after that, we'll do meditation. We'll go back to it. But yeah, we're going to bring in different guests here and there, and it's going to be awesome, because we all know a lot of really incredible people and they have beautiful things to share. So we'll mix it up a little bit. All right.
Marvelous. And we'll
Thank you,
get that.
everybody.
We'll work
Thank
on
you,
getting
Greg,
that
so
email
much.
out. We'll work on getting that email out ASAP to everyone so they can forward it on to
Oh,
other
good.
people
Thanks,
that may
thanks.
want to join for next Tuesday.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All
Thank you,
right.
everybody, for attending.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace and love.